Good evening, and welcome to the Post-Meridian Radio Players podcast. My name is Detective Sergeant Sargent, for reasons only known to my parents, and I've been investigating the disappearance of the regular host of this program, one Nick Scratch. Now, you might wonder why a Scotland Yard detective would be investigating the disappearance of a man from Boston. But there's a simple explanation for that. A message in a bottle, believe it or not. It floated down the Thames and I picked it up. Inside were a note from this Scratch bloke saying he's lost and don't know where he is. I may seem a grizzled detective, but under this gruff moustache, I've got a heart. So now I've made it my life's work to find this Nick Scratch, wherever he is, and in the meantime help him out by hosting his bloody podcast. So let's open up this PMRP vault and see what's inside this week. Ah! It's another tech from Scotland Yard. It's Lady Molly. Lady Molly of Scotland Yard was a creation of Baroness Orzee, an Hungarian novelist most famous for being a creator of the Scarlet Pimpernel. Orzee wrote dozens of dashing adventure novels, but also liked to tinker with the odd mystery or two. She wrote a successful series of short mysteries called The Old Man in the Corner, and then decided it was high time that women got in on the mystery game. Lady Molly of Scotland Yard appeared in a dozen stories, with tonight's tale being the first. Here now, from 2014, is Lady Molly in the Ninescore Mystery.
Welcome back. During the intermission, I spent some time down in the green room talking to my colleague, Mr. Green, and I asked him to introduce this next tale. He can be ever so hard to keep track of, though, as he has a tendency to wander off. I've been told he was seen retiring to the conservatory with a rope and a candlestick. Oh, dear! Someone had better keep an eye on that man. Oh, well, dear friends, it looks as though I'll be your host for this next tale as well. I do hope you're not disappointed. May I name drop for just a moment? Baronessa Emma Magdalena Rosalia Maria Josefa Borbala Orzee. Ring a bell? No? Well, she and I were such great friends that I called her simply Emushka. But you will know her better as the Baroness Orzee. Besides having a rather striking Hungarian name, the Baroness is infamous for her creation of the adventurer, the Scarlet Pimpernel, whose success lifted the lowly Emma Orzee up through the ranks of society from poverty to both wealth and a title. During one of our many teas together, as we both luxuriated in her success with the Pimpernel, I encouraged her to turn her talents and attentions to detective fiction, a genre experiencing a bit of a boom after the introduction of that Holmes fellow, a gentleman we'll get to in just a moment. In 1910, she created the characters of Lady Molly and her assistant, Mary Grenard, who worked for the, sadly fictional Scotland Yard female department. Unlike Holmes and his adherence to cold, hard logic, Lady Molly believed the answer to most mysteries could be divined through an understanding of feminine intuition, human psychology, and a respect for one's place in society. Her many adventures were soon to prove her right. Join us now as Lady Molly and Mary investigate a baffling case I like to call the Ninescore Mystery.
From the moment she took charge of our section, we always called her My Lady, though few know the reason why. Some thought her the daughter of a duke, and others claimed that the term lady had been soldered to her name to give her respectability. I could tell you the truth, of course, but when she took me on as her partner, she made me promise that I would never breathe a word, and so, as the poets say, my lips are sealed. We of the Scotland Yard female department are dreadfully snubbed by the men. But don't tell me that women have not 10 times the intuition of the blundering and sterner sex. My firm belief is that we shouldn't have half so many unsolved crimes if some were put to the test of feminine investigation. Consider, for example, the extraordinary Ninescore mystery. Do you suppose the truth would ever have come to light had it been left to the men? Would any man have taken so bold a risk as Lady Morley did when... Oh, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me go back to the beginning, and that memorable morning when Lady Morley burst into my room at the yard in a wild state of agitation.
Mary, it's finally happened.
My lady, whatever is the matter?
The chief, he says I am to go down to the village of Ninescore.
You? What for?
What for? What for? Mary, don't you understand? It's the chance we've been waiting for. The yard men are at their wits' end about the murder. So this morning I went into the chief and
Yes?
Well, never mind how I did it. The chief says I may go. He suggested I take one of the men with me, but somehow I feel this is women's work. I'd rather have you, Mary, than anyone. Now, there's an 11 a.m. bound for Canterbury. You should have just enough time to put a few things together and meet me at Charing Cross. Not now, girl. Too much to do. We'll go over the details of the case on the train.
She was off before I could ask more questions, but it didn't matter. I was too excited to say more. A murder case in the hands of the female department. Such a thing was unheard of. You may be sure I made good time to my lodgings and met Lady Morley at the station just as the 11 a.m. was departing.
All aboard!
Oh, good. We have the carriage to ourselves.
Thank goodness. A moment, my lady. I would appreciate some warning next time.
Next time? Who is to say if there will be a next time, Mary? If we fail to solve this mystery, you can be sure the chief will never let the female division near a high-profile case again. We simply cannot allow that to happen.
No, we can't. We simply can't. I'm fine now, lady. Tell me the details of the case.
Very well. Have you heard of the so-called Ninescore mystery?
What, the murder of Shelley Nichols? I should say so. Is this the case we're to investigate?
The very same. How versed are you in the facts?
I've heard the headlines from the newsies. I believe that her body was found on the grounds of a mansion in the village of Ninescore.
Yes, the Ash Court mansion. Very good. Anything else?
Not much, my lady. Only that the local police have arrested no one thus far.
Then I shall fill you in on the finer points. Ash Court is the largest mansion in Ninescore, a beautiful building surrounded by magnificently timbered grounds. At the edge of these grounds, on the border of Ninescore Lane, lies a small pond. It was there, on the 5th of February, that the body of Shelley Nichols was found.
Who found the body?
A gardener at Ash Court, Timothy Coleman by name. He was crossing a bridge over the pond when he noticed something blue lying half in and out of the water below. Suffice it to say, the blue he saw was the body of the unfortunate victim. Her legs lay upon the shore, but her torso had sunk into the stagnant water below.
Oh, my goodness.
Timothy stooped to lift the woman's body out of the mud, but his stolidity gave way at the terrible sight revealed. The blue dress was stained with blood, and given that her head and shoulders had been in the slime for some time, her torso was in an advanced state of decomposition. Timothy became sick with horror and ran to summon help.
Oh, dreadful.
Soon the local inspector, Inspector Majors, was on the scene. He concluded that though the body itself was unrecognizable, her bright blue dress, pearl ring, and red leather purse were unmistakable. The victim was identified as one Shelley Nichols, who lived with her sister Susan on Ninescore Lane.
Oh, and you said Ninescore Lane bordered the pond where Shelley's body was found. More than a coincidence, I should think.
I agree. But when Inspector Majors called at their address, he found the place locked and uninhabited. Their neighbor, Mrs. Hooker, told him that both Susan and Shelley Nichols had left a fortnight prior and had not been seen home since.
It'll be a fortnight tomorrow, just past 7 o'clock, as I just heard the church clock strike 7. It were as dark a night as ever you did see, with a nasty damp drizzle coming from everywhere. I was just inside me own door, a-calling to the cat to come in, when Susan and Shelley come out to their cottage.
How were they dressed? Was it for travel?
Well, truth be told, I couldn't rightly see either girl, but I heard Shelley's voice quite distinct. "We'll have to hurry," says she. I called out to them, but they took no notice and walked off towards the village. That's the last I ever seen of them two.
Can you describe the sisters?
Oh, night and day they was. That Shelley Nichols, flighty young thing, who seemed to attract scandal wherever she went. But that Susan, well, she were the sober and steady one. Quite chafed she was about her younger sister's questionable reputation, if you knows what I mean.
How did the sisters get along, then?
Oh, why, they'd fight like cats and dogs. I knows, I heard 'em.
You know what they were fighting about?
Some London gentleman there was. His name were, let me see, Mr. Lionel Lydgate, I think. Brother to that Lord Edbrook of Edbrook Castle. Lydgate'd stay at Ashcourt and come over and take that Shelley out for drives. Just the two of them. Can you imagine? And him, just newly engaged to that Margaret Marbury, daughter of a Canterbury Royal. Quite the scandal, if I do say so myself.
Well, it's no wonder her sister objected. Mr. Lydgate was far above her in station, and moreover about to marry a young lady of his own rank.
You and I might think so, Mary, but Shelley Nichols did not care about public opinion. She was a young woman who lived only for pleasure.
Such women tend to get themselves into trouble.
And Shelley Nichols' lifestyle seemed to attract that trouble. There were ugly rumors about the parentage of Shelley's baby girl.
The Nichols sisters had a baby.
They did. Shelley had placed her under the care of a local widow, Mrs. Williams.
Oh, but that is scandalous. Do you suppose Mr. Lydgate was the father?
No one knows for sure. Shelley claimed the father had died suddenly, and as the sisters couldn't look after it properly, they asked the widow to take charge for a small fee, of course.
Of course. I assume the good inspector interviewed the widow.
Indeed he did, and the worthy widow relayed a startling sequel to Mrs. Hooker's tale.
Shelley Nichols had come over every week to see her little girl, regular as clockwork, and always brought the money with her. But a fortnight ago, a little after 7 o'clock, Shelley comes running into my cottage. It was an awful night, pitch dark with a nasty drizzle, so I wondered what had brought her out in such weather. Shelley says to me she's with her sister, and they's leaving Ninescore by the Canterbury train, but she wants to say goodbye to the child first. I brings the baby to her, and she kisses it, wild-like, and hands me £2. £2! Well, that's the child's keep for a whole 8 weeks. You'll take great care of her, Mrs. Williams, she says. We may be gone for some time. Then she puts the baby down and ran out of the cottage.
Did you see her sister with her?
Well, the night was so very dark, I couldn't see Susan, but I did hear Shelley saying tearfully to someone, I had to kiss the baby. But then her voice was drowned out by the rain, and I didn't hear no more.
So you see, Mary, Inspector Majors was able to fix the date of the Nichols sister departure from Ninescore as being the night of January the 23rd. They left their cottage about 7, went to Mrs. Williams, where Susan remained outside while Shelley went in to say goodbye to the child. After that, all traces of them simply vanish.
At least until the poor girl turned up in the water.
Indeed.
Do we have any idea how long Shelley was in that pond?
Judging by the decomposition, the medical officer estimates at least 12 or 13 days.
Which puts the date of her death right back to the 23rd of January. But where did the sisters go? Shelley mentioned a train from Canterbury, maybe an inquiry at the station.
Canterbury is a busy station, and the booking clerk could not give any information, but the porter thinks he might remember 2 young women who travelled by the last train up on Saturday, January 23rd. His description, however, was very vague.
Puzzling affair, my lady. But still, even if the sisters did take the Canterbury train, it would seem certain that Shelley soon came back to Ninescore, since the gardener found her body in the Ashcourt grounds on the 5th of February.
So it would seem.
So many questions. Why did she return? Perhaps to meet a mystery lover? And where is Susan now?
There is indeed a great deal of mystery about the whole case, and a great deal of pressure that it be solved. It was only natural that Inspector Majors should seek assistance from the men at the yard.
Imagine his surprise. But, my lady, however did you convince the chief?
I believe we've arrived at Canterbury. Pick up your bag, Mary. There's a girl. We're going to tramp it to Ninescore. 2 lady artists on a sketching tour, remember. I dare say we'll find lodgings in the village with little trouble.
We had some lunch in Canterbury and then made the 6-mile walk down to Ninescore. Arriving in town, we discovered that the country inns were all packed with visitors from London. Artists, journalists, even dramatists and actors. Clearly, public excitement about the Ninescore mystery had reached a fever pitch. We put up at a cottage adorned with the sign, "Apartments for single, respectable ladies," and at 8 o'clock the next morning we found our way to the local police station for the coroner's inquest. We were met by a madhouse. Such a funny little place for a police station. Just a regular cottage. Not at all like we have at the yard.
And one which I doubt has ever seen such a crowd before. Why, the entire population of Ninescore must be congregated in this tiny room.
I wonder which one is the coroner.
Pardon, but are you Lady Morley of Scotland Yard?
I am, but discretion please, for we wish the locals to think we are naught but two lady artists on a sketching tour. You must be Inspector Majors.
Yes, lady. Of the local constabulary.
You seem ill at ease, Inspector. Is something wrong?
No, not wrong exactly. Your chief had sent word to expect you. It's just when I asked the yard for help, I wasn't expecting. I wasn't really expecting. Well,
The weaker sex.
Well, begging your pardon, lady. It's just that, you see, I've never worked with women before.
And I can see why. But do not worry, Inspector. If my assistant and I are unable to solve your mystery, I will see to it that the chief sends you as many men as you can handle.
Oh, yes, that'll do.
Now, this is my assistant, Mary Grenard, also of the yard.
Miss Renard.
Inspector? Tell me, which one of these gentlemen is the coroner?
Oh, well, none of them, miss. We're a small town and, we've had to send for someone from the neighbouring village. He should be here any moment now. So if you please, I've secured you 2 good seats well in sight of the witness and the jury.
Most kind. Come along, Mary.
My lady.
Yes, Inspector?
You forgot your sketch pads, lady.
Oh, yes, of course. Thank you, Inspector.
My duty, lady. I shall be in the back, should you need anything.
Have you been listening to the crowd, Mary?
I can't say that I have. Why?
One name seems to come up over and over again. The crowd seems to have decided already who the guilty man is.
Mr. Lionel Lydgate, no doubt. Is he here? I don't see anyone who would answer his description.
Nor I. Very suggestive, wouldn't you say? I believe this would be the coroner, but... Oh my.
Ladies and gentlemen, order, please.
Oh, blimey, another one.
I'm sorry I'm late, but it was unavoidable. I now call this inquest to order. We have much to cover, as the death of Shelley Nichols seems to wrap itself in a mantle of impenetrable mystery. I will begin with a brief summary of the facts. Shelley Nichols was discovered on February the 5th, partially submerged in stagnant water, dead of an apparent homicide. Owing to the state of her body, it is impossible to ascertain how the unfortunate girl died, but the doctor has determined she had been dead a fortnight, which pins the date of the murder on or about January 23rd. It is on this date we will focus our attentions. So to begin, I hereby call Timothy Coleman to the bench. State your name and occupation.
Timothy Coleman, mum. Under gardener at Ash Court.
And who now lives in Ash Court?
Not no one now, mum. Not for more than a year, but we does our best to keep the grounds respectable like, should Mr. Lydgate come down for a weekend.
Let us turn to the afternoon of February 5th. You found the body, did you not?
Yes, mum. One of my duties is to tend to the outer gardens, see, and that morning took me out to the pond on the edge of the grounds.
And where is this pond in relation to where the Nichols sisters lived?
It's right off Ninescore Lane, with only a brick wall in between.
Is there a door from Ninescore Lane?
There is a door, mum, opening opposite the Nichols cottage, but we keeps that locked.
Very good. Please continue.
Yes, mum. I was coming across the bridge that spans the pond when I looked down and saw... I saw...
Take your time, son.
I'm sorry, mum. It was just such a horrible sight. I thought she were a blue sheet caught in the mud, so still she was, but when I reached down and lifted her up, after her face being in the water so long, oh, Mum, horrible it was. It was just horrible, and so much blood.
Could it have been an accident? Might she have tripped and fallen into the water?
Well, not to contradict Mum, but that girl's head was so deep in the mud that I had to use all my strength to pull her up. I don't see how she could have fallen like that. She must have been pushed violent-like.
Just one more question, Timothy. The ring and purse found by the body. Do you recognize them?
I do indeed, Mum. They was what belonged to the murdered girl, to Shelley Nichols.
The testimony continued on for hours. The public life of the two Nichols sisters was gone into at full length. The two girls appeared to be well enough off. Shelley was always smartly dressed, and their baby girl had plenty of expensive clothes, whilst a 5 shilling a week keep with Mrs. Williams was paid with unfailing regularity. What seemed certain, however, was that the sisters did not get on well, and that Susan violently objected to Shelley's relationship with Lionel Lydgate. Indeed, Susan had gone so far as to ask the vicar of Ninescore, the Reverend Octavia Ludlow, to persuade her sister to leave Ninescore altogether, a conversation she described in her testimony.
I'm afraid he didn't make much impression on Shelley. My warnings about the fate of loose women went unheeded. She replied to me that neither she nor her daughter would ever need to go into service, as she had a good income of her own and could easily obtain £5,000 at any time she chose.
Did she explain how she could obtain this sum?
No.
Did you mention Mr. Lydgate's name to her?
Yes, I did. It was, after all, to get Shelley away from the attentions of Mr. Lydgate that Susan asked me to intercede.
And what was Shelley's response?
She laughed, I'm afraid, and said picturesquely, if ungrammatically, that some sisters didn't know what they was talking about.
All very indefinite, you see. No motive suggested for the brutal crime beyond a vague hint of blackmail. I must, however, not forget to tell you of the 2 other extraordinary facts which came to light that first day. Firstly, came the deposition of Franklin, a carter for one of the local farmers.
It were 6:30 on January 23rd. I was leading my cart along Ninescore Lane. We was moving slow as the night was pitch dark indeed. Just as I comes near the Nichols cottage, I heard a man say in a kind of whisper, "Open the door, can't you? It's dark as blazes." Then, after a pause, the same voice added, "Shelley, where the dickens are you?" A girl's voice replied, "All right, I'm coming."
And?
And nothing. That was it.
You heard nothing more?
Nothing more.
Did you see the man or woman who spoke?
Not in that gloom, Mum.
Could you perhaps say where the voices originated from?
Mum?
The location you specify is directly between Nichols' cottage, where the sisters lived, and the brick wall surrounding the pond where the body was found. From which side did the voices originate?
Well, I honestly couldn't say, Mum. It was most dark, you understand.
And why, pray tell, have you not come forward until now?
To be honest, Mum, I didn't think much of it till I heard just yesterday that Shelley had been murdered. Poor girl. Felt it was my civic duty to say something, what?
I see. Very well, you're excused.
That is most significant, as we can say definitively that Shelley was still alive and in Ninescore at 6:30 on the 23rd. But who was the man with her?
Her murderer, no doubt.
Perhaps. We shall see.
I now call the lead investigator, Inspector Majors, to the stand. Inspector, in the interest of time, can you stipulate to the evidence so far presented?
I do. So stipulate. Ma'am.
Very good. Now I'm given to understand that you have additional information which can shed light upon the matter?
I do. I have, on my person, a document which I have reserved for the last.
This inspector does certainly have a flair for the dramatic.
Quiet, Mary. Let's hear what he has to say.
This piece of paper, found in Shelley Nichols' leather purse, contains a series of dates and hours scribbled in pencil. The writing has been identified by several people as being that of the deceased.
This document was already in evidence.
Yes, but the dates at first seemed random, so it was assumed to not be of great significance. But after investigation, those dates have assumed a terrible importance. 2 of the dates December 26th and January 1st were days on which Mr. Lionel Lydgate took the victim, Shelley Nichols, for drives around Ninescore. I have located 2 witnesses who will swear to this.
I see. And the other dates?
Well, there are 6 other dates, and they are more vague. Mrs. Hooker remembers one as being a day when Shelley Nichols spent it away from the home, but the final date...
Yes, Inspector, the final date.
The final date and hour, scribbled in Shelley's handwriting, was January the 23rd at 6 p.m.
Ladies and gentlemen, it would seem that an explanation from Mr. Lionel Lydgate is now necessary. I hereby adjourn this inquest until tomorrow, when we will call Mr. Lydgate as a witness.
After that first day, one vivid picture stood out in our minds, that of 2 women tramping through the wet, dark night towards Canterbury. The carter, Franklin, had heard a man's voice calling to Shelley at 6:30, and Shelley herself replying to it. Half an hour later, Mrs. Hooker heard her leaving home with her sister, and she had visited Mrs. Williams soon thereafter. But beyond that, everything remained uncertain. The primary suspect was openly whispered about. Mr. Lionel Lydgate, about to marry and wishing to silence the threat of a scandal, entices his secret lover into the deserted grounds of Ash Court, where he murders her, dumping her body into the pond. But there was one great argument against that theory: the disappearance of Susan Nichols. She hated Lydgate and had done her utmost to separate him from her sister. Why did she not come forward to testify against him? And if Mr. Lydgate should prove to be innocent, then who was the criminal? Could Susan herself be the killer? Well, the next morning would show. Mr. Lionel Lydgate was announced and arrived promptly at 9. Good-looking, athletic, and showing every sign of being frightfully upset, he entered the little cottage courtroom accompanied by his solicitor. He looked keenly at Lady Molly as he sat down, seeming much puzzled as to who she was.
Ladies and gentlemen, quiet, please. I now reconvene the inquest into the death of Shelley Nichols. Witness, would you please state your name?
Lionel Lydgate of Edbrook Castle.
Can you describe your association with the deceased?
Shelley, a friend only.
Yet you spent a good deal of time with her.
I found her both pretty and amusing. There was no harm in her, whatever the local village gossips might say. I know she'd been in trouble, her baby girl speaks to that, but that had nothing to do with me. Clearly she'd been badly treated by some scoundrel.
A scoundrel? Who? Can you explain what you mean?
I don't see how that's any business of yours.
I'm afraid I must insist.
Then I'm afraid I don't know.
But surely you must have some idea...
I don't know who it was. Look, I felt sorry for the girl because of everyone turning against her, including her own sister, so I'd take her out when I was in town. I tried to give her some pleasure in an otherwise rotten life. It was no trouble to me.
I see. One moment.
The coroner seems flustered.
She's losing the jury to Lydgate's charm. She will have to shift tactics. Perhaps try to trap Lydgate in a lie.
She'll need to act fast.
Mr. Lydgate, I have here on this document a series of dates noted by the deceased. Do these dates have significance to you?
I'm not sure I take your meaning.
Then I shall be specific. Inspector Majors has located witnesses who swear they saw you with Shelley Nichols on both December 26th and January 1st. Both dates appear on this document.
I see.
Do you deny it?
Of course not. I did meet Shelley on both those dates. We took a jolly old drive together, attended a meet at the local Harriers. Shelley always loved those.
And the other dates?
That was the last I saw of her.
Sir, I must repeat the question. You claim to have not seen Shelley Nichols since the 1st of January.
Quite correct. Haven't seen hide nor hair of the girl.
But the 23rd of January, you must admit you had an appointment with the deceased on the 23rd.
Certainly not.
But you did see her on that day.
Most emphatically no. I went down to Edbrook Castle in Lincolnshire on the 20th and only got back 3 days ago. And before you ask, there are a score of witnesses to bear me out. The family, the party, the servants just for a start.
You swear to that, Mr. Lydgate?
I do, ma'am. On my honor.
Lydgate's testimony seemed utterly sincere, and everyone present began to doubt that the handsome young athlete was a murderer after all. Looking at him, it certainly seemed preposterous. He even agreed to stay an extra day before taking the train back to Edbrook, a gesture those assembled took as the final pronouncement of his innocence. The jury was deadlocked, and as there were no more witnesses to be heard, no new facts to elucidate, returned with a verdict against person or persons unknown. We left the inquest no closer to solving the mystery. Who had murdered Shelley Nichols, and where was her sister Susan? After the verdict, we found our way back to our lodgings. Lady Molly tramped along in silence, deep in thought. I assumed we would have a chance to rest once we returned to the hotel, but Lady Molly had other plans.
Home at last, even if it is a hotel. Now let's have some tea.
No tea, Mary, for there is far too much to do. I need just a moment to write out some telegrams, and then we'll go straight to Canterbury and send them from there.
To Canterbury? But that's 2 hours' walk at least.
Nevertheless, that is what we must do.
Why not send your telegrams from Ninescore?
Mary.
Yes?
Don't be daft.
She wrote out 2 telegrams, one at least 36 words long, and we set out together for Canterbury. I was cross, tea-deprived, and above all, puzzled. Lady Molly, on the other hand, was alert, active, and irritatingly cheerful. At a little before 5, we reached the telegraph office. My lady sent the telegrams without condescending to tell me anything of their destination or contents, and then took me to the Canterbury Castle Hotel, where we were finally able to sit and discuss.
There. Now there's nothing to do but wait. Some tea, Mary.
May I inquire whether you propose tramping back to Ninescore tonight?
Oh, no. I've engaged rooms at this hotel and wired both the chief and Inspector Majors so that any message will find us here.
But the case? Surely we should be investigating.
I don't think anything will occur before tomorrow morning, so there is time to relax. Sugar?
I protested, but there was nothing for it but patience, supper, and finally bed, where I struggled to fall asleep. So many questions kept running through my mind. Indeed, it felt as if I'd only just closed my eyes when my lady burst into my bedroom, a newspaper in her hand.
It's wonderful, Mary. It was in all the evening papers. With luck, we shall be in time.
What are you on about?
Here, the late edition, direct from London.
I'd rather have some tea.
There'll be time for tea later. Just look at the headline.
The Ninescore mystery. Shelley Nichols' baby dying?
Read on.
What? The baby daughter of the unfortunate girl murdered recently in Ninescore is seriously ill at the cottage of her caretaker, Mrs. Williams. The local doctor has declared that she cannot last more than a few hours. This is your doing, lady.
Of course.
But what does it all mean?
That might just be the answer to your question.
Telegram from Miss Grenard.
I am Mary Grenard.
Here you go, miss.
Thank you.
Oh, and for your trouble, sir.
Thank you, lady.
It's from Inspector Majors.
What does it say? Quickly now.
Shelley Nichols detained here at station. Come at once. Shelley Nichols? Alive? But I don't understand.
I knew it. I knew it. Oh, Mary, what a wonderful thing is human nature, and how I thank the heavens that gave me knowledge of it. Get dressed, girl. There is no time to lose.
She made me get dressed, again, all in a hurry. The fly took us to Ninescore at a frenzied clip after my lady promised the driver an extra £1 if he would not spare the whip. At the little police station, we found Majors awaiting our arrival.
Where is she? Where is Shelley Nichols?
Hold on now, lady. Shelley's in with the Reverend right now.
There's no doubt, I suppose. She is Shelley Nichols.
Oh, she's Shelley Nichols right enough. The very woman who is supposed to have been murdered. It was that silly bogus paragraph about the infant that brought her out of hiding. I checked, the child is well enough. I wonder how it got in the papers.
Yes, I wonder.
I suppose the other sister will turn up too presently. Pretty bit of trouble we have now. But if Shelley Nichols is alive and kicking, I wonder who was murdered at Ash Court.
Yes, I wonder. The prisoner is in this room?
Yes, but lady, you can't go in there.
Good evening, Reverend Ludlow. And you must be Shelley Nichols.
Who are you? Lady Molly, this is private.
This is yard business, Reverend. Nothing is private.
I suppose she's right, Reverend. Nothing is private where murder is concerned.
Inspector Majors, I do apologize, but I must ask you to wait outside.
But I...
Yard business?
Yes, lady.
Now that we're all here, let's get started. I suppose you know, Nichols, that we've a warrant for your arrest.
My arrest? Whatever for?
For the murder of your sister, Susan.
But it wasn't me.
Then Susan is dead.
It wasn't me. It wasn't me. It wasn't me.
Your child cannot now, of course, remain with Mrs. Williams. She will be removed to a workhouse and...
No, that shan't be.
She will. A woman of your station cannot prevent it.
She shan't, I tells you. No workhouse for her. Her father is a law. Oh, but I shouldn't have said.
The game is up, my dear. You may as well tell us the truth.
Please, I don't. It's been terrible, lady. Terrible.
If you don't know where to begin, then I shall help you. Who is your baby's father?
Oh, please, don't ask me that. Don't ask me.
It's Lord Edbrook, isn't it?
Yes.
A fact your sister Susan well knew. A fact she, with your connivance, used to blackmail the unfortunate man.
In God's name, child, what have you done? It was for the baby, it was. We needed the money. We couldn't care for it on our own.
You could have turned to the church. You could have turned to your neighbours. But this is unspeakable.
What blackmail did you have over Lord Edbrook?
I...
Out with it, girl.
Letters, lady. And a ring he gave me back in better days.
And just how much did Susan ask for in exchange for these letters?
£5,000, lady. Enough for us to start a new life elsewhere.
And so a meeting was arranged for the exchange.
Yes, lady.
On January the 23rd.
The 23rd. The meeting place was all agreed. The pond at Ash Court. But it was so dark that night I didn't want to go out. I was afraid, see? But nothing daunted Susan, save for concern for her precious reputation. So she put on one of me dresses to go meet Lord Edbrook. If she was seen, everyone would think it were me, right? Susan Nichols being out late would cause a stir, but no one would think nothing of Shelley Nichols roaming around. So with my purse, the ring and the letters, she left.
And then?
Well, he killed her, didn't he? Maybe he thought she was me, or maybe he didn't. But poor Susan ended up dead all the same. When he realized just who was in that blue dress, he came up with the trick of burying the body in the slimy mud. Hoodwinked all of you, didn't he?
For a time. But the truth always comes out in the end. After his crime, Lord Edbrook ran to your cottage. He had to confess his deed to you, as without your help, he was a doomed man.
It's almost like you was there, lady. He did indeed come to see me, and he persuaded me to go with him and leave no trace of me and my sister in Ninescore. He promised me the money he would have given Susan, so I could start life anew somewhere else.
That explains what the carter heard.
So you left, leaving your child in the care of Mrs. Williams.
At Lord Edbrook's instruction, but he promised me that I would see my child again very soon.
But why? Why would you do such a thing?
Mary.
No, my lady, she will answer this. That man killed her sister in cold blood, yet she spirits herself away on his command like a dog. How could you?
I loves him. Don't you see? For all that he done, I still loves him.
Yet, despite this so-called love, you're willing to romp all over the countryside with Mr. Lydgate at all hours.
Mary, don't be daft. Surely it's obvious that Lord Edbrook and Mr. Lydgate are the same person.
How did you?
You consented to disappear and allow the world to believe that Shelley Nichols had been murdered by an unknown miscreant. The murder had to have held something over you. What more powerful hold could he possess than being the father of your child?
Oh, I see. Then, with Shelley disappeared, Lord Edbrook, the Lionel Lydgate, could quietly return to Edbrook Castle unsuspected.
Indeed. When he came to Ash Court to visit Shelley Nichols, he travelled under the name of Lionel Lydgate. No one would ever think to mention the name Edbrook in connection with that of Shelley or her sister Susan.
You won't hurt him, will ya?
That is for the magistrate to decide. But first we must catch our quarry. Come along, Mary. There's not a moment to lose if we hope to catch Lord Edbrook before he escapes back to Somerset and his castle.
The fly was still waiting for us outside the police station, the driver eager for another sizable fare. He was not to be disappointed. With Lady Molly, Inspector Majors, and myself aboard, we tore off toward the Canterbury station like the devil himself were at our heels. Lady Molly urged the driver to go ever faster, determined to catch Lionel Lydgate before he disappeared behind the gates of Edbrook Castle. In what seemed but mere moments, we arrived back at Canterbury. My lady was off the track before the horses had stopped and bounded into the station, with Inspector Majors and myself trailing behind her.
All aboard. Last train for Somerset.
Spread out. He can't have gotten far.
Crowd's too thick. I can't see any.
There! There he is, my lady! Just over by the tracks!
You there! Lord Edbrook! Stop! in the name of the
Majors,
law!
you fool!
What?
Used his real name. Now he knows the game is up.
Oh, and there he goes, off like a rabbit.
I'll catch him, never fear.
Mary, you go round to the other side and cut him off. I'll follow Majors and see if he can...
He's jumped the tracks, my lady!
The train's coming, he'll never...
Ah!
Oh, Lord. Oh, my dear Lord.
It's over. It's over, Mary. Human justice cannot reach him now.
Our fellows at the yard began their investigations of Lord Edbrook's movements about the 23rd of January. Their inquiries revealed that his lordship had left Edbrook Castle on the 21st, saying to his wife and household that he had been called away on business. When he returned, on the morning of the 25th, he returned a murderer. And so, the veil of mystery was torn asunder by the marvelous intuition of Lady Molly, a woman who, in my opinion, is the most wonderful investigator of our time. But don't tell me that a man would have thought of that bogus article, or of the taunt which stung the village girl's motherly pride, thus wringing from her an admission which no amount of male ingenuity would ever have obtained. How well she knew feminine nature and pitting the child against the sweetheart. It was, in the end, Lady Molly, of the Scotland Yard Female Department, who solved the Ninescore mystery and finally brought justice to Lord Edbrook and the Nichols sisters. We were to have many more adventures together, Lady Molly and me, and I'll tell you another one when next we meet.
Lady Molly of Scotland Yard featured Leslie Drescher in the role of Lady Molly. Sophie Kaner as Mary Grenard. Brad Smith as Inspector Major. Liz Salazar as the coroner. Jim Nelson as Lionel Lydgate. Mindy Klenoff as Franklin and Timothy. Sarah Brinks as the vicar. Marty Mason as Mrs. Hookers and Mrs. Williams. Cal Gabar as the hotel porter and the train conductor. And Jessica Conger as Shelley Nichols. Our Foley team was Austin Wright and Tegan Kehoe. Our soundboard operators were Joev Dubak and Chris Sevelinsky. Our stage manager was Heather Tucker, and our producer was Chris DeKalb. The Ninescore mystery was adapted from the original Baroness Orczy tale by Jeremy B. Holstein, and the entire production was under the direction of Caitlin Mason. I have one more case to present to you tonight, the case of Sherlock Holmes and the Whitechapel murders. This next one is particularly frightening, so should you faint or otherwise require medical attention, I will refer you to one of the doctors in the house to see to your care. Oh, Not Dr. Watson, of course. My referral will go to a doctor who goes by the name of Jack. And he will be awaiting you in the darkened alleyway just behind the theater. Those of you who have the courage and fortitude to face this next most horrifying tale, see you back here in 10 minutes. Do not be late. Jack dislikes those who tend toward tardiness.
Well, sounds like the chief made the right decision to put Lady Molly on the case. I admire a detective, lady or otherwise, who can unravel such a baffling mystery. Not that I haven't unraveled a mystery or two in my time. Just you wait and see. Lady Molly will return, but for the next episode, it's a recreation of a radio classic from the series X-1 entitled Junkyard. If you like what you hear, you can check out more about the PMRP at their website, www.pmrp.org, or their new Bandcamp store, pmrp.bandcamp.com. This is Detective Sergeant signing off, but don't worry, Nick Scratch will be back. And until then, I'll be on the case.
This has been a production of the Post Meridian Radio Players, copyright 2024. All rights reserved. For more information about our group, please visit www.pmrp.org.